Southern California is home to fun in the sun on miles of beautiful sandy beaches, the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, and 25 million people. The heart of Southern California is Los Angeles, and just 30 minutes from the center of the city is one of the raciest short tracks in the country, Irwindale Speedway. Tonight, the ARCA Menards Series West kicks its season into gear with the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150, and it's coming up next, live right here on Flow Racing. Good evening, everybody. I am Charlie Crawl, and I'll have all the action for you here tonight as the ARCA Menards Series West goes racing for the second time in 2023. Before we go racing tonight, let's take a quick look at our weather conditions here at Irwindale. It is a Chamber of Commerce day here in SoCal. Bright sun all day long. High temperatures around 75. It's going to cool off into the low 60s, and there's absolutely no chance of racing. A great night to go racing. As the field starts to roll, let's take a look at tonight's General Tire race analysis. We're going to go 150 laps here tonight. That's 75 miles around the big half mile here at Irwindale Speedway. No scheduled pit stops, but teams can come on down pit road to pit for adjustments and repairs. Any tire changes will be on an emergency basis only and need to be approved by ARCA officials. We've got 6 degrees, 9 degrees, and 12 degrees of banking in these corners. That's going to lead to a lot of 3-wide racing. This is the 33rd different ARCA Menards Series West race here at Irwindale Speedway, dating back to 1999. And last year's winner, Tanner Reif. We'll see him in action here this evening. Let's check in now on our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver, RJ Smotherman, driver of the number 46 car for Loudon Jackson Motorsports. RJ comes to us out of Pahrump, Nevada, just outside of Las Vegas, and he just celebrated his 18th birthday. He made a handful of starts here last year in the West Series. There's a good look at RJ Smotherman. And, yeah, he's had over 100 wins in Bandolero competition here in the Southeast and finished 5th in the country, all over the country. That's everybody back in 2016. We're going to keep a close eye on RJ Smotherman and that number 46 car throughout the course of tonight. Now let's take a look at tonight's General Tire Pole Award winner. How about this? The hometown favorite, Trevor Huddleston, driving the number 51. The High Point Racing entry. He picked up tonight's General Tire Pole Award earlier this evening with a quick lap at 18.127 seconds. Here's a good look at Trevor Huddleston in that beautiful number 50 car. I said 51, it's number 50. That translates to 99.299 miles per hour around the half mile here at Irwindale. Trevor, that is his first ever General Tire Pole Award in 54 career starts. Keep an eye on him throughout the course of tonight's racing activities. Let's check out the rest of tonight's General Tire starting grid. Alongside Trevor up on the front row, Bradley Erickson had a great qualifying run. He'll fire off alongside on the front row. Sean Hingarani and Landon Lewis back in row 2. Last year's winner, Tanner Reif, alongside first-time starter Jake Ballman in the team car to Trevor Huddleston. They're back in row 3. Phoenix winner Tyler Reif alongside Kyle Keller back in row 4. How about this? The Nascimento row. Ethan and Bubba. Eric Nascimento back in row 5. Todd Souza will go from 11th tonight with RJ Smotherman in 12th. Takuma Koga and David Smith in row 7. Nick Janitis and Bobby Hillis back in row 8. We've got 16 cars lined up for 150 quick laps. Chuck Welch has the pace car down onto pit road. And you know what time it is, folks. I know it's late here on the East Coast, but it's racing time out on the West Coast, and it is time to rock, roll, and rumble. Joe Contreras with the green flag up in the air, and we are racing here at Irwindale. Trevor Huddleston with the jump. He's going to take the lead down the backstretch. Bradley Erickson, he's going to fall back into second, but he's facing some pretty serious heat right now. Sean Hingarani to the bottom side of the racetrack. Battle on for second. Hingarani to the very bottom side of the racetrack, on the flat of the racetrack down there in turns 1 and 2. While Bradley Erickson using those 12 degrees of banking on both sides of the racetrack. He's way up to the top side. Landon Lewis putting that 17 car in the thick of the battle there as well. Some 3-wide action back there behind this battle for second, third, and fourth. Sean Hingarani still working the bottom side of the racetrack. Hingarani driving that number 15 car for Venerini Motorsports. Billy Venerini and the team making a run at the West Series Championship. Sean actually going to run for the East title as well, and he was way down to the grass there through turns 3 and 4, but they're losing ground. This battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth, losing ground to Trevor Huddleston. Trevor driving off into the distance here in the early going. Hingarani still working the bottom side of the racetrack. Bradley Erickson still working the top side. Jake Ballman in that number 55 car. His first appearance with the ARCA Menards Series West. He's going to follow in Hingarani's footsteps down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Love this camera angle right here as we race 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. Landon Lewis going to try to thread the needle. He's got some racing room. Landon Lewis in that number 17 car, the Cook Racing Technologies automobile, with a good run through turns 1 and 2. He's going to take that spot from Sean Hingarani, and he's going to try to take second. Now that battle between Landon Lewis and Bradley Erickson off of turn 4. Give second to Landon Lewis. Lewis finished second in the season opener at Phoenix. Bradley Erickson was right behind him in third, and that's how they run right here at Irwindale. Hingarani going to fall back into the 4th position. Jake Ballman starting to put a little heat on Hingarani. Look at Hingarani now all the way to the top side of the racetrack. We saw him running the very low line there in the early going. That's where Jake Ballman running that very low line right now down in turns 1 and 2. And I'll tell you what, folks, that move by Landon Lewis, threading the needle to take over the 2nd position, could be an early candidate for that Reese's Sweet Move of the race. We'll keep an eye all race long. We'll come up with a few candidates, and you can log on to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page at ARCA_racing tomorrow morning starting at 9 a.m. Cast your vote for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. That battle is on. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Edley Erickson trying to hold off Sean Hingarani and Jake Ballman. And we see another car starting to make some noise here. And number 13, Todd Souza, the veteran. 110 career starts here in the ARCA Menards Series West over the years. 1 career win for Todd Souza. That coming on the road course at Utah Motorsports Campus all the way back in 2008. Never had a top 5 finish here tonight. That car looking really racy here in the early going. Todd Souza trying to march his way up to the front. Todd running a new Ford Mustang body on that number 13 car. Michael Munoz and the crew putting that automobile together as they work their way past David Smith in the 05. A lot of great 2 and 3 wide racing here in the early going. Erickson still holding on to the 3rd position. Sean Hingarani holding on to 4th. And right now, Todd Souza going to try to blast his way past Jake Ballman to take over 5th. Move the 13. Started 11th. Todd Souza now up to 5th. Oh, Ballman's not wanting to give it up without a fight, though. He's going to go to the bottom side of the racetrack. Try to work his way past it. Look at those brake rotors on the 55 car already glowing bright orange. Souza going to hold on to P5 as we work our way down into turns 1 and 2. Bobby Hillis in the 27 car to the bottom side of the racetrack. Field flashing under the starter stand here. My pal Joe Contreras keeping an eye on things. Up in the flag stand here tonight. Bradley Erickson driving the number 88 car. This is the car that Joey East had some success in here the last couple of seasons. Joey, of course, drove it as the number 54, the Mike Nake prepared automobile. Bradley Erickson climbing aboard, having an impressive run in our season opener at Phoenix Raceway a few weeks back, as he's going to give up that position now. Sean Hingarani moving to the bottom side of the racetrack, and he will take over. Has Todd Souza working his way past as well. So Hingarani up to third, Souza up to fourth, and Erickson going to drop back to fifth. We're seeing a lot of hard racing up here at the front of the field here in the early going. Now Erickson going to try to take that spot back from Souza down the backstretch. Souza using that momentum to the top side, but it looks like Erickson going to be able to retake that position through turns 3 and 4. A little slip and slide, dip and dive here in the early going. Souza now going all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. And I know we just mentioned it, but that right there could be another Reese's Sweet move of the race candidate. Bradley Erickson retaking the fourth position. Not a lot of action going on at the front of the field right now. Trevor Huddleston maintaining about a 1 second advantage over Landon Lewis in second. Sean Hingarani has taken over that third spot. This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. The battle for fourth. Bradley Erickson in the 88. Todd Souza in the 13. Here's another good battle just behind this group. Last year's winner here at Irwindale, Tanner Reif. In the 16, that's his younger brother Tyler Reif in the 41. Eric Nascimento in the 4, Bubba in the number 4. Kyle Keller there in the 74 cars, a gaggle of race cars working down the backstretch here, and everybody going at it. Kyle Keller going to go all the way to the grass there through turns 3 and 4. Not able to pick up any ground as we've got David Smith now in the 05 car up to the top side of the racetrack. David already a lap down to the leaders as we work our way underneath. And there's the leader, Trevor Huddleston, driving away. Now 1.1 second ahead of Landon Lewis in second. Working their way through some of the lap traffic. There's Landon in the number 17. 1.1 seconds on the stopwatch. Translates to, yeah, that looks like it's about 15 to 20 car lengths on the racetrack. There's Landon driving number 17, the MMI Services entry. Cook Racing Technologies teamed up last year to pick up a victory just up the road at Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, California. We'll actually be there up at Bakersfield, in Bakersfield, 3 weeks from now, April 22nd. ARCA Menards Series West, round number 3. Watch that one live right here on Flow. And there's Trevor Huddleston, the all-time winningest driver here at Irwindale Speedway, a 3-time late model champion. Knows this place like the back of his hand, and he is showing it here tonight. Landon Lewis starting to reel him in ever so slightly, now under a second. That advantage slowly starting to dwindle for Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston now going all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. We check in on that battle for third, fourth, and fifth. John Hingarani still holding on to third. There's Bradley Erickson. He's in fourth. They've got Takuma Koge in the 7 car. Takuma is a lapped car. And there's Todd Souza all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like this battle has kind of calmed down here for the time being. A beautiful night for racing here in Southern California. An absolutely picture-perfect day. Temperatures around 75 degrees throughout the course of the evening. It's going to cool off to the mid-60s throughout the course of our race as we check in on Landon Lewis and Sean Hingarani. Looks like Sean's starting to close the gap on Landon Lewis just a touch here through turns 3 and 4. Of course, a big night on tap here at Irwindale Speedway, starting with the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150. And then, of course, track promoter Tim Huddleston puts on a night of destruction for the fans here as well. As you can see, it is a packed grandstand here tonight. A lot of action yet to come as Sean Hingarani starting to close in on Landon Lewis. Sean had a good run in the ARCA Menards Series East race at Five Flags Speedway last weekend. Picked up his first ever top 5 finish here at the ARCA Menards Series platform. Looking to pick up another one here tonight. He's got Landon Lewis in his sights. Hingarani now trying to track down Landon Lewis. Landon, one of the proteges of 4-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion and NASCAR Hall of Famer Ron Hornaday. Ron comes to a lot of the races and gives Landon some pointers and some support throughout the course of these race weekends. Landon doing a lot of Legends car racing when he's not behind the wheel here in the ARCA Menards Series platform, as Trevor Huddleston working his way past R.J. Smotherman, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver. R.J. back in the 11th position. So still 10 cars on the lead lap here as we quickly approach the 1/3 mark here. Laps ticking off at a pretty rapid rate. And we mentioned it at the top of the show, no scheduled break here this evening. 150 laps straight through, only emergency tire changes. If you have a tire go down, they'll let you change it, but you can't just come on down pit road and throw four fresh tires on your race car here this evening. Emergency tire changes only, so no scheduled pit stops. 150 laps straight through. Going to make it a challenge for these drivers. It doesn't matter how good you're running. Anytime we get a caution, you're going to want to come on down and grab some fresh tires, as we see the 04 car. That's Ethan Nascimento. Ethan's been down on pit road since lap 8. Some issues with that automobile. Ethan just 15 years of age, the younger brother of Eric Nascimento, and it looks like they're going to wave him back out onto the racetrack. So whatever the problem was there, looks like they may have had it diagnosed and fixed. Is that battle for second about to come to a head here? Sean Hingarani to the bottom side of the racetrack. Landon Lewis up to the top side. Hingarani's kind of cooled his jets here for the first 30 laps of this race, and now he's starting to feel a little racy. He's chased down Landon Lewis. Now trying to retake that second position. Great battle for second. As we just passed the 1/3 mark here in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150 here at Irwindale Speedway. David Smith once again to the top side of the racetrack. That's going to force Landon Lewis down to the bottom side. Sean Hingarani right there at his tire tracks. We both move to the top side, and there's the distance between that battle for second and the leader down the backstretch. Trevor Huddleston, two-time winner in the ARCA Menards Series West, looking for career win number 3 here tonight. Picked up a pair of victories in 2019, driving for now retired team owner Bob Brancati. Bob is here this evening, picked up a very nice honor. The General Tire Spirit Award was presented to Bob Brancati in the pre-race activities here tonight. That award goes to a member of the ARCA community that shows spirit and dedication to the sport, and can't think of a better person to give that to than Bob Brancati. He himself a member of the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame. Here's the battle now for 5th and 6th. Todd Souza and Jake Ballman. Souza's going to have a slower car directly in front of him. He's going to have to move to the middle of the racetrack right there. Ballman might have tried to sneak by him right there, but he couldn't quite get the grip down. Kind of a different look for that number 13 car here this season. As we jump back up to the front of the field, Trevor Huddleston led all 59 laps so far, working lap 60 right now. It has been the Trevor Huddleston show. Still has about a 1 second advantage over that battle for second directly behind him. Landon Lewis and Sean Hingarani, actually they lopped a big bite off of that lead that time around. We've been talking about it in about a 1 second gap. Now we're going to be talking about it in a matter of car lengths. Now just more than a quarter of a second that time around. 3/10 of a second. Could there be a problem on the number 50 car? Or is Landon Lewis and Sean Hingarani, have they just put the hammer down? Huddleston opens it up just a touch now. Just over half a second. He did. He gave up almost a full second advantage over the course of a couple of laps. Maybe just trying some things, a different line. Whatever it was, Landon Lewis able to take a big bite out of that advantage momentarily, but right now, Huddleston starting to stretch that advantage out one more time. Hingarani falling back after starting up near the front. He's going to try to take over that second position right now. Way to the bottom side of the racetrack. He's got the nose of that number 15 car out in front, but there you see, that's why that 12 degrees of banking up at the top of the racetrack is so important. Able to carry that momentum down the straightaways. Like Hingarani may have had him by about 2 feet at the start-finish line. But Lewis able to put the power down and retake that second position. And again, look at them. They've closed in right on the back bumper of Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston almost doing some agricultural racing right there. He had those left side tires all the way down, almost in the grass, trying to keep Landon Lewis and Sean Hingorani at bay. Lewis now may have the fastest race car on the racetrack. Huddleston again way to the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like RJ Smotherman in the 46 car right there. He's to the top side, so Huddleston going to go to the bottom. No, excuse me, that's Nick Janitis in the 77 car. Ooh, close call right there between Trevor Huddleston and Nick Janitis. Both of those drivers have a lot of laps here at Irwindale Speedway, but now here comes Landon Lewis. That 17 car looks like it is handling very, very well wherever he wants to run it on the racetrack. Top side of the racetrack or bottom side of the racetrack. That 17 car is very stout. And there are our top two. That 1 second advantage has evaporated. Landon Lewis is there. Now looking to the inside of the racetrack. Battle for the lead is on down in turns 1 and 2. Lewis with the nose out front. Huddleston going to use the top side of the racetrack. Try to get that momentum. And here comes Hingorani as well. Who leads him across the line? Ooh, a little contact there down into turn 1. Great save by Landon Lewis. That could be a Reese's Sweet Move candidate right there. Great save. It's now Hingorani to the top side of the racetrack. Lewis is going to take the lead, and Hingorani now going to try to take over second. Great racing for the lead here at Irwindale Speedway as we approach the halfway point. Trevor Huddleston had led the first 72 laps. Now give the lead to Landon Lewis, but here comes Sean Hingorani. We will see the cross flags from Joe Contreras next time by. Halfway home. Here at Irwindale Speedway, Landon Lewis leads them at the cross flags. He has got his hands full right now as Sean Hingorani in that number 15 car. Ooh, Sean almost knocking on the back door right there. As we dive off into turns 3 and 4. Work to the bottom side of Takuma Koga. Takuma with a lot of fans on hand here tonight. Ooh, look at Hingorani all the way to the bottom side. We thought Landon Lewis was running the low line, but Hingorani even lower down there in turns 1 and 2. And these two have now opened up a 1 second gap between themselves and Trevor Huddleston, and they're doing it while they're battling with one another. There's RJ Smotherman in the 46, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver here tonight. Smotherman still back in the 11th position. Now Sean Hingorani to the bottom side of the racetrack, the battle on for the lead. He's going to clear Landon Lewis off of turn 2, move Sean Hingorani to the lead. Three leaders in the last 10 laps. Mid stages of the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame, seeing a lot of action up towards the front. First time in his career that Sean Hingorani has led the field, and he's going to do it here at Irwindale Speedway. Crew Chief Kevin Reed Jr. calling the shots on the number 15. There's Kevin's dad, longtime crew chief in the ARCA Menards series, picking up a couple of championships along the way. Kevin Reed Jr. going to school on some of those calls that his father made over the years, as we see Trevor Huddleston now falling back into the third position. He's going to feel some heat from Bradley Erickson in the 88 car here before too long. Still a long ways yet to go, just past the halfway point here at Irwindale Speedway. Why don't we take a quick look at our Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Of course, Trevor Huddleston started from the pole, led the first 72 laps here tonight before Landon Lewis worked his way past. Landon held the lead for a couple of laps, and then Sean Hingorani moved his way towards the front of the field. No cautions so far here tonight. Caution free to this point as we work lap 86 here at Irwindale Speedway. This is the battle for third and fourth. Bradley Erickson all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. Amazing how far down, almost off the racing surface, these drivers will go looking for grip. And the extreme short way around here at Irwindale Speedway. Then you'll see other drivers work the extreme top side of the racetrack. Sometimes you'll see them do both on the same lap. Erickson again dips those left side tires almost down into the grass, and you can see 88 laps of green flag racing. These drivers thrashing those race cars, slipping and sliding off the corners. As we see the caution for the first time here tonight. Just said we had gone caution free. And Joe Contreras puts out the yellow flag for the first time here this evening. Field will slow behind the pace car. And there you see a beautiful crowd on hand. They're bouncing beach balls and enjoying a beautiful night for stock car racing here in Southern California. Absolutely picture perfect day. Got to give everybody here at Irwindale Speedway a ton of credit. Tim Huddleston and his crew do a wonderful job packing the house. And let's see, take a look at a replay here. I'll tell you what, if Bradley Erickson didn't catch the wall right there, he missed a good opportunity to do it. I don't know that you could have slid a sheet of paper between himself and the outside wall there at the start-finish line. Don't see any damage to the right side of that car. So apparently he didn't catch the outside wall, but that was a close one. Why don't we go ahead and catch our breath as we see the safety crew out there in turn 2, apparently picking up some debris on the racetrack. While we do have a quick moment, we'll step away for a quick break. We'll be right back to the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150, live here on Flow Racing right after this quick break. Welcome back to Irwindale Speedway as we are just past the halfway point here in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150. Appreciate you joining us on a beautiful night for racing. Here's a good look at downtown LA, just about 30 minutes from where we're sitting right now. Beautiful sunset here tonight too. What an absolutely gorgeous night for racing at one of the most incredible short track facilities in the United States. We've been stacking them up 2 and 3 wide all night long as Joe Contreras gives us the one to go. We will go racing next time around. Sean Hingorani and Landon Lewis up on the front row. Trevor Huddleston and Bradley Erickson back in row 2. Todd Souza and Jake Ballman back in row 3. Tyler Reif and Tanner Reif, the brothers Reif, back in row 4. and Eric Nascimento and Kyle Keller rounding out the top 10. Those are the 10 drivers on the lead lap. Chuck Welch wisely dips that pace car down into the infield, and we are about to go back racing with 54 laps yet to go. And let's see what happens here on the restart. Hingorani fires off from the top side of the racetrack as we've got some problems behind. 4 cars stacking up here as we come back to green, and a lot of damage on R.J. Smotherman's number 46 car. There's Eric Nascimento involved. Looked like Nick Janitis there in the 77 as well. Nick with a lot of damage to the nose of that number 77 car, and that puts us under the caution flag for the second time here tonight. Tough break for Eric Nascimento. Had a good run going in 9th. Still on the lead lap. And the safety team making their way to these 2 cars. Stop just short of the start-finish line here. This happened well towards the back half of the field as we were coming back to green. And there's R.J. Smotherman climbing out of that number 46 car. He pulled that machine down to the infield of the quarter mile here as we take a look at what happened. Let's see if we can catch a look. Already underway as our cameras got to it. It looks like the 05 of David Smith also involved. I believe, just based on the level of damage right there, I believe RJ and David might have gotten together to start that. That's hard to tell. There's the damage on the number 4, the Nascimento number 4. Tough night for the Nascimento brothers. There's Bubba walking around, taking a look at the suspension on the front of that car. There's going to be some damage to the rear, unfortunately, there, Eric. He shakes his head in disgust. I got to tell you, I agree. I agree, man. That's a tough way to end your night. Doesn't look like Nick Janitis had anywhere to go. Couldn't avoid that number 4 car as Eric got sideways. I think Eric was trying to avoid Smotherman and David Smith. He's going to hop in the back of the ambulance there for a mandatory check. David Smith will be able to continue on. David in that 05 car. There's a good look at David. Out of British Columbia. Has committed to run with us every week here in the ARCA Menards Series West. There you see the damage to the bumper. That number 05. A little damage to the nose of the 05 car as well. Well, we do have a couple of minutes as the safety crew still working to clear the incident here at the start-finish line. Let's take a look at the remaining events on the ARCA Menards Series West calendar for 2023. Of course, the Napa Night Vision 150 coming up April 22nd up at Kern County Raceway Park. We'll move to Portland International Raceway coming up on June 2nd. First of two road course races coming up here in 2023 as we take a great look at that awesome crowd here tonight. The General Tire 200 at Sonoma Raceway, back-to-back road course races. That one coming up on June the 9th. The Napa Night Vision 150 at right here at Irwindale Speedway coming up on July 1st. We make a return trip to Shasta Speedway. First time in several years we will race up at Shasta. That one coming up on July 29th. We'll return to Evergreen Speedway on August 19th. The Napa Auto Care 150 at the Bull Ring, the quarter-mile All-American Speedway up in Roseville, California. That one coming up on September 30th. The Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway comes up on August 13th. We return to Madera Speedway. First time we've been to Madera in several seasons. That one's coming up on October 21st. And we will close the season November 3rd at Phoenix Raceway. All of those races can be seen live right here on Flow Racing. There you saw the damage on the number 77, Nick Janidis's ride here tonight. Longtime team owner Joe Nava. Got a little bit of work to do to get that 77 car back in shape for that next race coming up 3 weeks from tonight up at Kern County Raceway Park. Be interesting to see what happens here on this restart. Sean Hingorani has taken over the lead. Landon Lewis, he's got a strong race car. Landon has been looking pretty solid here in that number 17 car. But it'll be interesting to see what Trevor Huddleston has here. Trevor fired off very strong, but it looked like as the tires wore, you know, we built some heat in the tires and tires wore down. It looked like the handling on the 50 car just went away ever so slightly, but now that we've had a chance to cool the tires a little bit, does the 50 come back to life here in the final stretch to the checkered flag? We will find out once we go back green flag racing. Trevor picked up the first pole of his career, 54 career starts. First time he's ever been P1 coming to the green flag. Great way to start his night here tonight. Bradley Erickson and Todd Souza rounding out the top five. See a little bit different look on that number 13 car this year. We've seen the number on that car in the back quarter panel for the last several years. Michael Munoz and the team building a brand new Ford Mustang bodied car. They actually got this car from the former DGR team. Of course, Todd and David Gilliland go back a long ways. Got this car from that group in the off season, and new body, kind of a new paint scheme on that number 13. Good looking hot rod. Talked to Todd a little bit at Phoenix, trying to kind of put some pieces into place for what this race team is going to look like as he kind of transitions from owner driver to team owner along with his wife Kelly. Looking at bringing some drivers into that number 13 team maybe as early as next year. So it'll be good to have Todd still involved as an owner, but he's still got a little bit of business to achieve yet behind the wheel here, and I think that number 13 car looking pretty sporty here tonight. He looks for his first ever top 5 finish here at Irwindale Speedway. Chuck Welch has the lights out on the pace car. We're about ready to go back green flag racing. In the hurt a little bit on that restart, folks. don't know if we want to do any more of that type of action. John Hingarani again elects the top side of the racetrack. Landon Lewis to the bottom. Trevor Huddleston, Bradley Erickson there in row 2. Jake Ballman and Todd Souza back in row 3. The Reif brothers, Tyler Reif and Tanner Reif, back there in row 4. Kyle Keller back in 9th as we come back to green with 43 laps to go. Let's see what happens here down into 1. We're going to stack him 3 wide off of turn 2. Hingarani gets the power down, and he's going to stretch that advantage down into turns 3 and 4. We're still stacking him up 3 wide off of turn 2. Lewis holding on to second. Erickson trying to steal third now from Trevor Huddleston. He's going to try to take second from Landon Lewis. A great power move there by Bradley Erickson. Trevor Huddleston now facing some pressure from his teammate, Jake Ballman. Jake in the 55 car. He's going to take over that position down the backstretch. Move Jake Ballman into 4th. Tyler Reif racing side by side with Todd Souza. The 2 High Point Racing teammates going at it there for position. Look at Souza to the top side of the racetrack. Souza gave up a position on that restart. He wants to take a couple of positions back here. That 13 car looking pretty racy. He's going to dive to the middle of the racetrack. Oh, he's got some contact there. And 55 Ballman going to go around into the outside wall. That puts us under the caution flag one more time. Souza tried to thread the needle between Trevor Huddleston and Jake Ballman, and it looked like he got a little bit of contact from Trevor Huddleston, and that put him into Jake Ballman, and both of those 2 cars went for a spin, and unfortunately Ballman put the power down to try to keep that car from doing exactly what it did. Let's take a look. There's the contact from Huddleston, and that puts Souza into the 55. And Ballman hit the gas trying to keep that car out of the wall, but unfortunately it just ran out of racetrack right there. Big cloud of smoke. Ballman going to pop the outside fence in that number 55. Well, folks, that's going to put us under the caution flag one more time. While we do have a couple of minutes, why don't we go ahead and catch our breath? We'll sneak away for another quick break. You're watching the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150 from Irwindale Speedway, live right here on Flow Racing. We'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to Irwindale Speedway, the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150. Winding towards its conclusion. 116 laps in the books, make it 117 laps, and this is why we are under caution for the 3rd time here tonight. The 13 and the 55 coming together. Jake Ballman in the 55 car tried to keep that machine off the outside wall, but couldn't quite make it happen. Damage to the nose of the number 55 car. Todd Souza going for a spin down into the infield grass. He's able to keep going. He's going to drop down. Was running up into the top 5. He's going to fall back to the tail end of the lead lap. Well, enough time to maybe race his way back up into the top 5. That 13 car has been pretty sporty here tonight. Looks like we may have some right front suspension damage on that number 13 car. Definitely got some grass packed in the brake duct work down there. That could just be the camber. One more look at what happened down there. As Souza tried to thread the needle between those two teammates. He got just the slightest little nudge from Trevor Huddleston. That sent him up the racetrack into Jake Ballman, and Ballman went around. Really lucky not to get any more contact from anybody else right there, but that contact with the outside wall, enough to bring his night to an early end. Tough way to end the night for Jake Ballman in his ARCA Menards Series West debut. Was running well up into the top 5. Looked like he was going to have a shot at it here tonight. He will likely finish back outside the top 10 here this evening. Here is the damage. Still circulate behind the pace car. I didn't know that we were going to see Chuck Welch at all tonight, but we got a little spate of yellow fever here. We might put Chuck in contention for the bonus point for most laps led here tonight, all of a sudden. Hopefully we'll get this little spate of caution flags behind us as we move Takuma Koga around. Takuma will pick up the free pass once we get him back in position. We'll go back green flag racing. Sean Hingorani will bring the field back in the lead. He and Landon Lewis will start alongside one another on the front row. You do see some damage on the nose of that number 13 car. That bodywork doesn't look exactly right, so apparently Todd did take a little bit of a bump there, as we do get the one to go from Joe Contreras this time around. Apparently trying to reset the toe or the camber on the right front there of the number 13, so it's able to tag on to the tail end here for the start. Sean Hingorani, Landon Lewis on the front row, Bradley Erickson and Tyler Reif. They finished first and second at Phoenix. They're in the second row, coming back to the green flag with 29 laps remaining. Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller, Tanner Reif, the 7 cars remaining on the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. Let's see what happens here down into 1. Landon Lewis with a great restart. He's going to retake the lead. Down the backstretch and into 3. Let's see if Sean Hingorani has enough to hustle his way past here over the course of the final 27 laps. And look at that 41 car coming to life at just the right time. And this is what he did in Phoenix, folks. Went a couple of laps down early after an incident, made his way back onto the lead lap, and patiently worked his way back towards the front of the field. And now Tyler Reif in contention here late in the going at Irwindale. The battle is on for the lead, though. Sean Hingorani all over the back bumper. He and Landon Lewis going at it for the lead. Oh, we've got Bradley Erickson sideways into turn 3, and he's going to make some contact with the outside wall. Caution flag out for the 4th time here tonight. Not a lot of damage, but enough. Tough way for Bradley Erickson's challenge for the victory here tonight to come to an end. But I do believe Mike Nake and that crew will be able to keep him running to the finish here tonight. Take a look at what happened going off into turn 3. And ooh, Bradley got a big helping hand right there from Tyler Reif. I don't think that was intentional by any means, but indeed, Tyler getting into the left rear quarter panel there as they sailed off into turn 3, and nothing Bradley Erickson could do right there but lock her down and go for a ride. And there's the contact with the outside wall, damaging that right rear quarter panel. So that's going to move Tyler Reif up into the 3rd position and drop Bradley Erickson back to 7th. Bradley still on the lead lap, though. And that'll give Takuma Koga the free pass. And now Takuma has picked up a couple of free passes here the last couple of times we've gone under the caution flag, and that will put him just 1 lap in arrears as Bradley's going to bring that car down. Again, no scheduled tire changes here tonight, but if you do need to make repairs or make some adjustments, pit road is available to you. And Bradley going to take his opportunity to come on down. There's a good look at Tyler Reif in the number 41, the Power Gen Components car. Team co-owners Chris Loudon and Mike Jackson teaming up here. Let's put Tyler behind the wheel and compete not only for the championship here in the ARCA Menards Series West, but they're going to run for the championship in the ARCA Menards Series East as well. Tyler finished 6th down at Five Flag Speedway in the season opener for the East Series last weekend. And a pretty solid start to his 2023 season. Now sitting in the 3rd position with what should be just under 20 laps remaining when we go back green flag racing. So Landon Lewis will bring us back to the green flag. Sean Hingarani in 2nd. Tyler Reif and Trevor Huddleston back in row 2. Kyle Keller and Tanner Reif back in row 3. Bradley Erickson rounding out our 7 cars on the lead lap. We get back racing with 19 laps to go. More contact down into turns 1 and 2. It is time, folks. It is go time as Tyler Reif and Trevor Huddleston bouncing off of one another down in turns 1 and 2. And the battle for the lead is on. Hingarani to the bottom side of the racetrack. Landon Lewis able to hold him off, but Hingarani still on the charge. Side by side now into turns 3 and 4. Hingarani to the inside, Lewis to the outside, and Trevor Huddleston trying to work his way back into the conversation. Huddleston all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack. The all-time winningest driver here at Irwindale Speedway, trying to pick up his 3rd career ARCA Menards Series West victory. Hingarani leads him across the stripe that time with 16 to go. And Hingarani will clear Landon Lewis off at 2. Lewis going to go to the middle. He's going to go all the way to the bottom side of the racetrack to try to retake that lead off of 4. Side by side at the stripe. Hingarani leads him by a nose. Great racing with just 15 laps to go here at Irwindale. Hingarani leads. Now stretching it out to about 7 car lengths down the backstretch over Landon Lewis in 2nd. John Hingarani out of Newport Beach, California. looking to go to victory lane for the first time in his career here at Irwindale. 7th career start. Best finish, 12th at Portland back last September. So Sean Hingorani having a career night here this evening. 10 to go this time around. And there's the battle for third. Tyler Reif trying to work his way past Trevor Huddleston. Look at Ethan Nascimento there in the 0-4 car. Ethan had some power steering issues early in the race. He is multiple laps down, 40-some laps down, but that 0-4 car looking pretty sporty here in the late stages. And look at that. Tyler Reif to the inside of Trevor Huddleston. They make a little contact down into turn 3. Reif way up the racetrack. Huddleston going to try to slide back to the inside, but he can't make it stick. Move Tyler Reif to third. And while these two are going at it, Ethan Nascimento going to try to blow past both of them. Ethan's got 40 laps less on his tires. A lot more grip in that 0-4 car. There's Tyler Reif picked up a big win down at Phoenix Raceway about 3 weeks ago. First time an ARCA Menards Series West driver has picked up the victory in that event. A combination race with the ARCA Menards Series, the National Tour. There's Ethan Nascimento. That car running very well here in the late stages. No battle at all up at the front of the field. Sean Hingorani has driven away. Stretching the legs of that number 15 car, the Venerini Motorsports entry. The all-time winningest team in the ARCA Menards Series, looking for its first career victory here in the ARCA Menards West. 4 to go this time around for Sean Hingorani. No pressure at all as we come to 3 to go. Landon Lewis in second. If he's able to stay there, it'll be his second consecutive runner-up finish to start the 2023 season. He also came home second in the season opener at Phoenix Raceway. 2 to go this time around for Sean Hingorani. Continues to stretch it out as we see Bradley Erickson rejoin. Bradley made a pit stop for repairs, falling off the lead lap. There's a good look at Landon Lewis in second as we come to the white flag this time around. Final lap for Sean Hingorani. Makes his way cleanly through turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. No pressure at all from Landon Lewis. Sean Hingorani working his way through turns 3 and 4. And he will go to victory lane. Sean Hingorani picking up the win here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. Landon Lewis will come home in second. Tyler Reif, Trevor Huddleston, and Tanner Reif rounding out the top 5. But Sean Hingorani picking up the victory. Career win number 1 for the young man out of Newport Beach, California. And how about that? He just drives it right down into victory lane. There's an excited crew chief, Kevin Reed Jr., running up to pull the window net down. First ever victory for the Venturini Motorsports team here in the West. We will head on downstairs here momentarily to get a word from our winner.
Very first win, ladies and gentlemen, on a half mile. That was a hot rod. Mr. Hangarini, get out of the car. You got a lot of fans waiting on you. Come on, baby, the winner tonight, Sean. Oh, man, put it in gear, Vita. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, here he is, your winner, Sean Hangarini. Holy cow, man. Doesn't get any better than that. Tommy. Oh, man, his team is celebrating with him, having a great time. Holy cow, dude. Come on, from legend cars to this. What a stage. What a performance, dude. You made it happen here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. Congratulations.
The camera was just so fast tonight, and thanks to Venturini Motorsports. We were fast all weekend. Kevin Reed Jr., my crew chief, he's been here a couple times. He got us dialed in. So I just want to thank all the fans for coming out and all the support. So thank you guys. This was awesome to win here.
Well, let me tell you, when winning at Irwindale is no small feat, and you put together a absolute first-class whipping tonight, dude. That was amazing. Congratulations on your first win on a half mile, first win in ARCA series. This is not the last, dude. You're going to have a great year. Congratulations, young man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, congratulations. Here he is, your winner, Sean Hangarini. Come on, make some noise for this young man. Doesn't get any better than that.
And you got to love it. Hearing the great crowd on hand, making some noise for you after your first career ARCA Menards West victory. And they're going to come and climb the fence. How about it? Sean Hangarini, Kevin Reed Jr., and the rest of the Venturini Motorsports team all the way to the top, boys. That's the way to do it. I'm going to do some pull-ups there. That's impressive after 150 laps of racing. That is an impressive performance right there. That young man is in shape, I'll tell you what. Nicely done, Sean and team here tonight. My buddy Sal Segala there, getting some photos of the team climbing the fence. Let's take a look at the unofficial results here tonight. Sean Hangarini, of course, picking up career win number 1. Landon Lewis coming across the stripe in second. Tyler Reif, another great performance. He's going to come home third tonight. Trevor Huddleston started from the pole. He's going to finish fourth. And Tanner Reif coming home in fifth, driving the number 16 car for Bill McAnally Racing. Kyle Keller, great run for him tonight. He will come home unofficially in sixth. And, of course, as soon as I start to take you through the results, the scoring feed goes away on me. So apologize if we can't take you back any further through the field than we did. As we see victory lane celebrations winding down here. I'll tell you, Tim, he wants to clear the racetrack. We've got some stuff to tear up here tonight. It's the night of destruction. And they are in hurry-up mode here. So we will clear the front straightaway, folks. And there is that great crowd on hand tonight, witnessing Sean Hangarini's first career ARCA Menards West victory. Well, folks, that's going to do it for tonight here at Irwindale Speedway. Congratulations go on to Sean Hangarini and Venturini Motorsports for picking up the win here in the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame 150, round 2 of the 2023 ARCA Menards Series West season. Next up for the ARCA Menards platform here on Flow Racing will be the Napa Auto Parts Night Vision 150 at Kern County Raceway Park, just about 3 hours up the road in Bakersfield, California. You can watch that one live right here on Flow Racing at 1:15 Eastern, 8:15 Pacific on Saturday, April 22nd. We look forward to talking to you then. On behalf of J.R. Becerra and all the crew here who worked hard bringing you all the great pictures you saw tonight and all the team back in Charlotte, my name is Charlie Krall. We'll talk to you next time from Bakersfield. Until then, so long, everybody.
Better than that. All right, here he is, your winner, Sean Hangarini. Ha! Holy cow, man. Doesn't get oh, man.
Oh, that was a